Good morning, everyone. I'm Ishrat Baki Borno. I'm a graduate research assistant under Dr. Warda Ashraf at the University of Texas at Arlington. Welcome to my presentation. So today I'm going to present our study on microstructure, mechanical performance, and chloride binding of seawater cured Portlandite and calcined clay binders. This is the outline of my presentation. So first, I will discuss about the background and the motivation, then the research approach and goal. Then I'll discuss about the methodology of this study, then sample preparation, experimental results, then finally summary and future direction and acknowledgements. So the motivation behind this study is that the cement production is known as the most energy intensive process, which is responsible for almost 8% of the total global carbon dioxide emission. In addition to that, our modern concrete shows poor durability performance with a service life of less than 50 years. This is creating a worldwide motivation to develop an alternative environment-friendly material. So unlike our modern concrete, the concrete developed by the ancient Romans, which is popularly known as Roman concrete, that one actually survived the harsh environment for over 2000 years. So these type of materials are extremely durable and resilient. And in addition to that, these materials require lower energy and lower freshwater consumption to make the concrete. So our goal of this study is to develop highly durable and environment-friendly material by recreating the cementation process of the ancient Roman concrete and by using the raw materials, those are readily available in the US. For this study, we chose the bottom-up approach. For this, first we will we have done the nanostructural characterization, like the reaction kinetics and the heat of reaction. Then the microstructural properties like mineralogy of the reaction products, Portlandite consumption, and the morphology of the microstructure. And finally, the macrostructural properties like compressive strength, chloride, and sulfate sequestration. So for sample preparation, we took two types of clay, calcined kaolin, calcined montmorillonite, and we mixed with Portlandite and artificial seawater. Then we mixed in a paste mixer and prepared 25 millimeter paste cubes. So for this, we use the calcination temperature 750 degrees Celsius. As you can see in the XRD pattern, the black one is the raw kaolin and the green one is the calcined kaolin at 750 degrees Celsius. Kaolin clay actually becomes totally amorphous at 750 degrees Celsius. That is why we chose this temperature. The calcination duration was 120 minutes. The water to binder ratio was 0.6 and the samples were cured in the seawater at room temperature. So we took two types of clay in three different ratios. First one is 100% kaolin, second one is 75% kaolin and 25% montmorillonite, and third one is the 50% of both of the clays. So we mix this clay mixer with the Portlandite in three different ratios, 2:1, 3:1, and 4:1. Now let's talk about the nanostructural properties. So the upper ones are the heat of reaction curve of the samples mixed with deionized water, and the bottom graphs are the same mixed with the seawater. So as you can see, the total heat release is much higher in the seawater batches than the deionized water. The reason is that our seawater is alkaline. It has some alkaline ions like sodium, potassium, and the pH of seawater is 8.2. So this seawater acts as an activator to this calcined clay and Portlandite system. So that is why the early stage reaction is really faster in the seawater batches than the DI water batches. So as I previously mentioned that we took two types of clay, kaolinite and montmorillonite. So kaolinite is a 1:1 layered structure clay where we have one octahedral alumina sheet connected with the one tetrahedral silica sheet, and the montmorillonite clay is a 2:1 layered clay where we have one octahedral alumina sheet connected with two tetrahedral silica sheet. When this clay come in contact with the alkaline seawater, the aluminates and silicates from this clay gets dissolved. And when it reaches the saturation limit, these aluminates and silicates gets precipitated and rearrange between themselves and form some reaction product. We used silicon NMR to characterize these products. As you can see from the silicon NMR, we have high intensity peak of Q1, and along with that Q1, we have some Q3 and Q4, which actually proves the coexistence of calcium aluminum silicate hydrate gel and some geopolymer gel in this type of material. So now let's discuss about the microstructural properties. In order to determine the mineralogy of the reaction products, the XRD was used. So almost 80% of the reaction product was amorphous. Among the crystalline product, we have hydrocalumite. It is really prominent. So hydrocalumite formed by the reaction of alumina from the calcined clay, calcium from the Portlandite, and chlorine from the seawater. Besides hydrocalumite, we have some calcium silicate hydrate and calcium aluminum silicate hydrate. And other than these phases, we have ettringite, gypsum, grossite, grossular, aukenite, and phillipsite, which is crystalline zeolite and which was also present in the ancient Roman concrete samples. And we have also some unreacted montmorillonites. So, however, the ettringite was formed in very early stage. We did not notice any kind of crack or deformation of our sample over the curing period. So for determining Portlandite consumption, we used the thermogravimetric analysis. This is a typical TGA plot of calcined clay Portlandite binder cured in seawater. So the red line represents the weight loss over the temperature, and the blue line is the derivative of that. So as you can see, at lower temperature, the evaporable water, ettringite, gypsum, these kind of phases decomposed. At around 200 to 350 degrees Celsius, calcium aluminohydrates decomposed, and around 400 to 600 degrees Celsius, Portlandite decomposed. So as you can see from this plot, our M1 and M3 batches consumed all the Portlandite at 28 days. But our M2 batches, there were 2% Portlandite still remained after 56 days of curing. But all other batches, like from M4 to M9, all of the Portlandite was totally consumed within first 3 days of curing. So actually, this Portlandite, the calcium ion from the Portlandite reacts with the alumina from the calcined clay and forms some reaction product. That is how this Portlandite is consumed. So we can say that if we have more alumina in our system, the faster the Portlandite will be consumed. So let's see some morphology of our crystalline products. So we use ACM EDS to determine these morphologies. So the first image is a bunch of crystalline needles, which is representing some crystalline zeolite. The second bunch of needles are of ettringite. So we can see the presence of sulfur from EDS spectra, which actually proves the presence of ettringite. Then we have some crystalline calcium aluminum silicate hydrates. All of these phases were also present in our ancient Roman concrete samples. So let's talk about the macrostructural properties. So this is the compressive strength data of our samples over 90 days of curing age. We got our highest strength for M3 batch at 90 days, which is 25 MPa. However, 30 MPa concrete can be achieved by optimizing calcined clay to Portlandite ratio and water to binder ratio at 28 days with this type of material. So in order to determine the chloride and sulfate sequestration, we actually compared our clay binders with the OPC system. This plot actually represents the alumina content present in our system. So as you can see, there are a lot alumina present in the clay system than the OPC system. So this alumina from the clay actually reacts with the sulfur and calcium from the Portlandite and forms some ettringite. That is how it is binding the sulfate. And again, the alumina from the calcined clay also binding chloride by forming hydrocalumite. That is why the total chloride and bound chloride content is really high comparing to the OPC system. So in this study, we tried to develop a new cementitious material by recreating the cementation mechanism of ancient Roman concrete. This is ongoing work. The ongoing tasks are investigating the environmental impact of these materials and comparison of this with the OPC material, and understanding the role of sulfate and chloride sequestration in this system. I would like to thank our US Defense Advanced Research Project Agency for sponsoring this study. And I'd like to thank ACI for giving me the opportunity to present this study in this platform. And thank you all for attending this session.